Okay, welcome back from break. Hopefully you had a nice, long, relaxing Christmas break and you're all energized up and ready to just hammer out the last semester. Okay, let's go ahead and take our notes out. We're going to talk a little bit today about simplifying rational expressions. It was what we finished up with last semester. We're going to kind of reteach it so we get a better understanding of what's going on. So our learning objective for today is to be able to simplify rational expressions that are being multiplied or divided. Okay, so we're focusing on multiplication and division today. Remember during this time, as you take notes, to pause the video if you're falling behind so your notes are complete, and stop the video, listen to pieces again if you don't understand the concept. It might take 2 or 3 times before you can make the connection. Okay, let's get going. There's a lot of good factoring to do today, so we got to recall our factoring techniques, and it may take a little bit of time, so we're going to try to run through this as fast as we can, but slow enough so you understand it. Okay, here's our first problem. We have 2x squared minus 8, all divided by 2x squared plus 5x plus 2, and we're going to multiply it to 8x cubed plus 1, all divided by 8x minus 16. All right, so the first thing we're going to do is we're going to factor. Okay, so when we're multiplying rational expressions, we're looking to factor. And the reason we want to factor is step 2. We want to divide out common terms. Divide out common terms. Okay, dividing out common terms, we learned it under a different name back in grade school. It's called cross-canceling. So the key to doing this is factoring and cross-canceling. That's all the steps are. So let's jump into our factoring and make sure we can knock this out pretty quick. All right, starting with the first term, I'm simply going to write right above it. It looks like I can factor out a 2. So remember GCF. And then factor what's left. I have 2 terms. It's a squared minus sign. This is a difference of 2 squares. So this is going to be 2 times x plus 2, x minus 2. So there's our factoring. Let's go ahead and take a look. Make sure you're grasping what's going on. And I'm going to go ahead and cross this out. Now for the next 3 terms, this numerator and the 2 denominators, I want you to go ahead and pause the video and factor them out. And if you feel comfortable, go ahead and divide out your common terms and come up with the answer. If you're not comfortable with your factoring, go ahead and restart the video, and I'm going to go through the factoring techniques. Either way, when you're done factoring and or done dividing common terms, go ahead and start the video and we'll go over the answer. So go ahead and do that right now. Okay, so hopefully you came up with the factors or the actual answer. So let's go ahead and check our work and see what's going on. Okay, I'm going to start with this numerator. I see a cubed, 2 terms, plus sign. This is a sum of cubes. So the cube root of 8x cubed is going to be 2x. The cube root of 1 is simply 1. And our second set of parentheses is the first term squared, or 4x squared. Our middle term are these two multiplied together, so that's 2x. And our last term is the last term squared, which is going to be 1. And we do SOAP, same, opposite, always positive. Again, if you missed that, stop the video and see where you went wrong to make sure you understand and don't do it again. Okay, the denominator, I count 3 terms, no GCF. So 3 terms, this is leading term coefficient multiplied by the constant, which is 4. And the middle term coefficient is 5. So factors of 4 that up to 5, that's an easy one. That's 4 or 5. Divide by the leading term and simplify. And remember, if you factor different, that's totally okay. That's one of many ways to factor a trinomial. All right, so this is going to be an x plus 2. And remember, we can't go x plus 1/2. We have to move the 2 in front of the x, so that's going to be 2x plus 1. Lastly, GCF. And I'm left with an 8x minus 2. Nothing squared in there, so that's the best I can do. So step 1 is done. We factored. Now step 2, divide out common terms. Looks like I have an x plus 2 and an x plus 2. I have an x minus 2 and an x minus 2. I have a 2 and an 8. And 2 goes into 8 4 times, so I'm left with 4 down here. I'm going to go ahead and circle him because that's all that's left. And up here I'm left with simply just a 1. Everything has been crossed out. On this side I have a 2x plus 1 and a 2x plus 1. So everything's gone here, so I'm simply going to put a circle around it. And here I'm left with nothing but a 4x squared minus 2x plus 1. So simplifying this out, finishing the problem off, and I'll go ahead and write the answer here. The numerator, we have a 4x squared minus 2x plus 1 over 1 times 4, which is simply just 4. We're simplified. Okay, again, factoring is the key to this. Now our next example, we're going to bring two things in. So here it is. Go ahead and write it down. We have 2x cubed minus 3x squared minus 4x plus 6 all over 8x cubed minus 27 divided by x to the fourth minus 5x squared plus 6 over 20x squared plus 30x plus 45. Okay, so the two things I mentioned we're going to bring in is we're going to bring some heavy-duty factoring of the new techniques. I see difference of cubes, I see 4 terms, I see quadratic form, and division. Okay, let's go ahead and get started. Now division and multiplication are virtually the same with the exception with division. We have to first take the reciprocal or invert and multiply. Now the second we invert, it becomes just like example 1. We just multiply it, which is factoring and cross-canceling. So let's go ahead and do that right now. So I'm just going to simply rewrite the problem, leave some space up here because I'm going to write above it. This is 2x cubed minus 3x squared minus 4x plus 6 all over 8x cubed minus 27. Okay, so here's where it changes. So we'll go blue. We're going to take the reciprocal and change the sign to multiplication. So this piece is now your numerator. And this piece is now your denominator. Okay, let's go ahead and erase that. My pen dragged. It looks like a 2 or 3. Let's put it back to a 2 so we don't make that error. So be careful as you write stuff. Make sure you copy correctly and be neat as you can. All right, this is just like the last problem. So I want you to go ahead and pause the video and factor and cross cancel or divide out common terms as much as you can. If you're struggling on one of the new factoring techniques you don't quite remember from last semester, go ahead and start the video up and we'll go through the factoring. When you're done, start the video and we'll check our work. So go ahead and do that now. Okay, so here we have some heavy-duty factoring. It's going to take a little bit of space, so we just try to stay organized the best we can. So the first thing I see in the numerator are 4 terms, so that's grouping. So I'm going to group this term. Remember, we got to have a plus sign in between, so we'll go add the opposite. Make sure that negative gets inside the parentheses with the 4. GCF, looks like I can pull out an x squared. And I'm left with 2x minus 3. This one, I'm going to pull out a negative 2, it looks like. And I'm left with a matching parenthesis of 2x minus 3. And remember, for it to be factorable, the parentheses must match. So I'm going to pull out the 2x minus 3. And I'm left over with an x squared and a negative 2. And that's our factoring by grouping. Okay, go ahead and make sure you understand what's going on. Remember, pause the video if you don't. I'm not going to cross this out yet, give you a chance to look at it. Remember, GCF 3 times. Okay, There's our new factor. Here is just a difference of cube, just like we did on the last problem. So the cube root of 8x cubed is 2x. Cube root of 27 is 3. First term squared is 4x squared. Multiply them together. For the middle term, I get 6x, and square the last term, I get 9. Slope it now. So same sign, so he's negative. Opposite, always positive. There's our factors for the first one. Okay, moving on to the second expression. Looks like I can pull out a GCF of 5. I'm left with 4x squared plus 6x plus 9. Before I get into seeing if that's factorable, I'm noticing that it can cross cancel out with this term below. So before I even think about factoring that, I know even if it is factorable, they're all going to go away. So I'm going to stop right there on that one. There's no sense in factoring it anymore when you can see it's going to cross out. Lastly, it looks like we have quadratic form because that's a power of 4. The only way we can factor those is if it is a quadratic form. So power of 4, the middle term has an exponent of 2. That's half of that, and the last is a constant. So yeah, that fits the form. So think of it just like you would factor a quadratic. Factors of 6 add up to -5. Be careful on this one. So let's write this one out. Get 6 and -1. Sorry, -6 and +1, or -2, -3. It's all about the signs. Because he's positive, the signs have to be the same. Because he's negative, I know they're both negatives. So be careful on that one. So this will be x squared minus 2, x squared minus 3. X squared times x squared, remember, is x to the 4th. Okay, so a little review on factoring. And lastly, cross cancel. What can we get rid of up here? Well, I have a 2x minus 3. We said the 4x squared plus 6x plus 9s would go away. I have an x squared minus 2. Lots of stuff going away. See, it's getting a little messy up here. So everything up here is now gone. So I'm going to go to the side and put a 1. Circle it. He's gone. This stuff's gone. Up here, I'm left with a 5. There's no other numbers to cross out with. And I have an x squared minus 3. Can't do anything with that either. So our final answer to this one is 5 over x squared minus 3. Okay, that's about a 13-minute video. Sorry it ran a little long, but there was some heavy-duty factoring in this. Okay, again, if you struggle with a part, go ahead and listen to it again. Still not getting it, ask your neighbor, search the internet. And if you have any questions, write them down on the side, and we'll handle them when I get back to class.